Welcome back, my spooky friends. While I know the rest of the world is saying it is way too early for Halloween, in my world, it means it is time to start planning and prepping and doing all of the fun things to make my spooky collaborations and ideas come to life. So, because I still utterly and completely am stuck living in Satan's literal butt crack of a state, it's already 90 degrees at 9 a.m. And so for me, that means implementing a lot more headwear and sun protection. But being the little spooky girl that I am, I definitely have been vibing with the notion of making one of these really cute straw witches hats. I keep seeing them all over Instagram and Pinterest, and they have been bombarding me. So it's almost like the world knows and appreciates that I need this in my life. I genuinely do not want to purchase one. While there are a lot of fantastic versions out there on Etsy, the artists that make them deserve every penny they have, but $130 for a sun hat is definitely way out of my budget. And so I am going to DIY this. I'm just not quite sure how yet. I've seen a couple of different tutorials on people disassembling straw hats and then hot gluing them back together. However, for Central Florida, that does not work. The heat will cause my glue to dissolve over time, and so that's not going to work. So I have to come up with an idea to make this without using this. I definitely love the notion of actually making a haberdashery form, sort of like this, so that I can actually stick pins in it and sew the different layers of the straw hat pieces together. I think that that would be the most structurally sound for what I'm thinking. So I am armed with my straw hat, some air dry foam clay, and of course my pumpkin spice tea cakes and tea to get me in the mood. So in looking at all of the different hats that are on the internet, there is a very wide variety of shapes and sizes, and while they are all cute and precious in their own way, I've decided the right one for me is this slightly shorter cone. I really like the juxtaposition between the petite little cone and then the big floppy brim. So I think I'm going to keep the brim of my hat the same, and I'm just going to play with the different sizes of my cone size and shape. I also like having my cone tilt back a little bit. I think that's kind of, I'm not sure if there's an aesthetic reason for it. It's just something that vibes with me at the moment. So that's what I'm gonna go for. But if you try to recreate this for yourself, don't hesitate to make it exactly what you have in mind. I started off to make my hat form using aluminum foil to get the basic shape that I wanted, and I kept checking against the actual hat to make sure that the circumference of the base of it would be the same as the crown of the hat. Once I had my aluminum foil base the way that I wanted it, I started laying down my air dry foam clay in small sections, layer by layer, and building it up to make it exactly the size and shape that I wanted it. Okay, I have got this to the size and shape that I want it. It's predominantly made out of foil, which is a little bit of the foam clay overlay. And so the hardest part now is to let this puppy dry. So I gotta leave it alone. Good luck to me. Okay, so this is the part of the project that I have been dreading. I have to actually disassemble this. I want to keep my elastic band and my brim intact, so I'm going to start pulling threads from this spiral. Okay, here is where I stopped unraveling the hat, and I've done a dry fit. I did let this dry overnight, and so now it's still a little moist. It's a little lumpy, but aren't we all?
But now I think I need to maybe take down another row or two and go a little tighter because my clay did shrink a little bit upon drying. It's either that or I add another layer of foam clay in here. And I actually realized I didn't have the form pressed all the way up. So actually once I got it all the way up and in position, it's actually where it is supposed to be. And so I think now what I need to do is start reassembling my rows of straw. Good morning. It is day 2. I have left this puppy to dry overnight. So let me show you. She is sitting in there in a dry fit. This is as far down as I ended up unraveling because I realized that that's just several rows I didn't have to worry about. And so now I'm at the point where I think I can start reassembling her. Here's an inside shot of how it's sitting in there. Some of my seams where I attached my layers of clay didn't perfectly seal, but I'm not too worried about any of that because this really is just a form. It's not actually meant to be more than that. Okay, and then I'm just gonna continue going around and around all the way up.
After getting everything pinned the way that I wanted it to be, I transferred all of my pins out of the form and directly into the hat itself so that I could transfer it over to my sewing machine easily. Using a zigzag stitch on my sewing machine, I went around and around on all of my rows until I got to the point where it wouldn't fit in my sewing machine anymore. This is the point at which I started hand sewing the last couple of rows. I was really sure to catch both the previous row and the current row so that they overlapped just so. And I used the holes that I took the old thread out of as my sewing holes so that I was able to save some of my fingertips a little bit. I was also not really worried about the fact that I wasn't doing the exact same type of stitch that I did on my sewing machine. While the bottom half is zigzag and this is a whip stitch, that is such a minor difference. The color, it blends. It's really not all that noticeable in the long run, so it's not something that I really worried about.
So here is like the original manufactured machine stitching. And then here's my hand stitching where I did it as a whip stitch all the way up. And then just kept going and going and going until there was nothing left and just a point. So we had a little casualty in the process, but otherwise, you know, there's some holes where my pins went. As a foam mold, it still held okay, I guess, aside from our little casualty here. No major damage, but I don't know how many hats I can use making this mold. I mean, I can replace the tip, but you know, I don't as a like long-term thing, I don't know if this mold will work over and over and over again. I definitely want to add some fall floral to the brim of this because I think that that's what gives some of the pizzazz that I see all these really cute ones. I do also think that maybe I don't want to make whatever I put here permanent. I don't know. I have a really hard time committing to like permanence. I was almost kind of thinking like one of those like floral crowns that you can buy at fairs and stuff that tie. So I'm gonna play with a few ideas and we'll see what I come up with. But I have a lot of things that have been living in my inventory unused for literally decades that have been sitting in the bucket of like, I got them really cheap.
I didn't use them all. This has literally been in my inventory since 2009. Like, genuinely hoarding. And so I think that I want to maybe incorporate some of these little floral wreaths. I don't know. I'll apply. We'll see.
So in my drawer here of ribbons and lace, I've got some scraps that I think Disney's Go Away Green. So what I'm thinking is then actually using all of the intricate braid work to like stick pieces in there. Figure out some kind of temporary way to tack this here. So my other minor dilemma is this is about 1.5 inches, 2 inches short. I think what I'm going to do to solve my problem is if I add a small piece of elastic right here, that would tighten and make it taut around the circumference of the crown, holding it in place. Okay, so I very haphazardly did some stitching. They're not pretty, but they're secure. That elastic is not going anywhere. But now I can put all of my decorations and accoutrement onto this ribbon instead of permanently adhering it to my hat. So in looking at it, that wire frame that was part of this little pumpkin wreath is actually really looking like it might be something I might incorporate. I only disassembled one, so I'm gonna go grab another one and see if I can actually make a frame.
Using the metal floral wire that's already attached to these picks, I gave it the old twist tie method to attach everything together so that it stayed nice and secure. And then I played with it and rearranged it until I was happy with the way everything looked.
I think I'm gonna wrap that frame in this Disney's Go Away Green. It's the right autumnal green, and wrap the frame in that.
Okay, friends, that did a number on my fingers. There was a whole lot of hand sewing that I was prepared for, but whatever. I will say, if I were to do this again, I think I would come all the way down because I got a little bit of a lump. Like, it's a little lumpy bumpy right here. We're all a little lumpy bumpy in some places, so I'll deal with it. But if I were to do it again, I think I would just unravel all the way to here. The brim itself is a little bit more on the floppy side, but I think that that's because of the particular straw hat type that I chose. Like, it was going to always have a floppy brim. Considering this is my first actual go at doing this, as a first round, I've got no complaints. There's definitely things I would do differently next time, but that's next time. All right, speaking of next time, I will see you guys next time. I do still have most of a second hat. Honestly,
I don't think I'm that stressed about it. Because, okay, I can't put my hair in a messy bun while it's in braids. But Huh? I mean, there's something... Okay, I'm nuts. Never mind.
Why do my neighbors have to have their lawn mowed right when I'm trying to record? My auto face tracking really wants to be on this skull. Like, come on, over here. Come on. Hello. I'm over here.
The only thing that would be better is if she was snoring.